Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
That is the Finance Minister there, pretty much confirming every story that we broke here on CNBC TV18. A quick check from all of our experts. Hari, confirmation on all the rate reductions that we had already gone over. Those have been announced by the Finance Minister there officially. The quarterly filing also being confirmed there by Finance Minister Piyush Goyal. Sum and substance, what do you make of it?
No, absolutely. All that we've been hearing and we've been debating has all been confirmed. One important thing you mentioned, which we all had doubts about, though the filing is quarterly, the payment is going to be monthly, which I think is a good.
But that was something that Timsy had already clarified.
Yeah, which Timsy had clarified. I didn't hear that, so that's again being clarified by the minister. Also, several other household consumer durable items, all into 18%. So TV is the only one where there's been a specification on centimeters, but washing machines, water heaters, vacuum cleaners, a whole lot of lists. So I think that list of 28 has been significantly pruned. Probably, like Mr. Mitra said, the balance would happen in the second leg. He did mention about some simplification of return having also been approved. He mentioned about Sugam and Saral. I don't know. It sounded quite similar to what we have in income tax. That's something which you'll have to wait and watch, because they will have to put it up. If the formats have been finalized, which is what we've been hearing, they need to put it up for stakeholder consultation, because people then understand how it's going to move 3 to 4 months from now when GST is ready to test and allow the compliance to happen. So by and large, an excellent council meeting, much more than what I personally expected, at least on rates. Another thing which I'll be keen to understand is what are those changes that have happened in law. He didn't mention about proposed changes, but we've been hearing about proposed changes. That's a fine print. I'd wait and watch.
Okay. Mani, quick word from you.
There were two things which stood out from what he said. The first very important point that he made was GST Council in future will not be guided only by revenue collections. They are also going to consider broad level macro issues such as job growth, such as GDP growth, such as what is relevant to a particular state, which I think is a very, very good perspective to have. In fact, many of the changes that have been made today, I was just going through the sectors which are going to be affected. And one thing which came out was some of them are in sectors which are highly employment intensive. So if there is going to be a focus on reducing the rates in employment intensive sectors, which leads to further employment, which again propels consumption, I think it's a very mature way to approach the subject of GST rates. Just one more issue that I picked up in terms of what he said is that in respect of returns, he said that there would be 3 types of returns going forward. One would be the return for composition dealers, and the other 2 would be in respect of B2B and B2C. So if we are going to just have 3 sets of returns, or maybe one modular return with 3 modules in it, it is a very welcome development, because today's return is common for people who are B2B and people who are B2C. And therefore, if these are segregated, will make a lot of sense, because the whole tax machinery can focus on the B2B returns, and they don't need to focus on the B2C returns where there is no credit implication at all.
Okay, I just want to also clarify now that there is a confirmation. The reverse charge mechanism has now been deferred till September 2019. So that is a confirmation coming in from the Finance Minister. The reverse charge mechanism deferred till September 2019. Prateek.
Yeah, so 3 points. One is he started by saying that it is focused on consumers and SMEs, and he talked about 125 crore population. Very clear directionally we are, where we are heading to. 2 points on the final points. One is on the textile sector. He said that inverted duty, the refund will be allowed, which I think is a huge benefit for the sector. We have made representation to the government. There is one other sector which is left out, is the railway sector, where you supply at 5% and the refund is specifically denied for the input. So some of those things need to be looked at. On urea, a very important clarification or amendment. What happens in those cases is that you import, let's say, at 100, but you sell at 50 because you get 50 as a subsidy from the government. So what was happening was that IGST on import was on 100, whereas on the output you paid only on 50. So therefore it became an inverted duty. Now I think the clarification is, or the amendment is, that you import, you pay IGST only on 50 and not on 100. right? Now, if I have to summarize all of that from an end customer perspective, and Rakhi is very near, I think the end customer, the summary is that you can now tie Rakhi in a newly painted house.
No, not any kind of Rakhi. Not any kind of Rakhi, though, Pratik. Not any kind of Rakhi. No Rakhis with gold, semi-precious stones, so it's not any kind of Rakhi.
Yeah, you have to choose a Rakhi carefully, and you can have ice cream while tying the Rakhi. And from a brother perspective, you have several gift options, right from chappal to washing machine to vacuum cleaner to hairdryer.
And watch a movie on a 28-centimeter television.
Small TV. Absolutely, absolutely. That was there in my notes, which I forgot.
All right. Well, that wraps up the decisions that have been taken by the GST Council. Lots of items, about 17 in the 28% bracket, moving lower. This was along expected lines. Perhaps we will see further rationalization in the coming months. The next meeting of the GST Council will happen in the first week of August. I think it's the 4th of August. That will specifically look into issues pertaining to the SME sector. We've broken every story that has now been officially confirmed by the Finance Minister, Piyush Goyal. Markets will react to the decisions that have been taken. You can see stocks, especially in the space of consumer durables, consumer appliances, FMCG companies perhaps reacting to the rate cuts that have been announced today. It's been a marathon Saturday, as it usually is on GST Saturdays. Many thanks to MS Money, Pratik and Hari for joining us here and spending your Saturday with us. Thanks very much for watching CNBC TV18.